City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero! Special beyond special.
Best player in the Premier League.
Captain Marvel. Drogba! Rooney! Oh, wonderful! That is one Derby diamond.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's match day.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Clash of Clubs, episode 25. A jam-packed episode today. We're going to cover the most recent match week, which is Matchweek 22. But we'll start with United since we didn't get to them in the last episode. Then we'll go over a little bit of Spurs woes because they continue to fall down the table. We'll then start to touch on the top four, which included the games with Villa versus Arsenal, which ended 2-2. Bournemouth smashing Newcastle 4-1. Then we'll finally get back to teams that are regaining their confidence and form, with City demolishing Ipswich 6-0. And then Chelsea beating Wolves 3-1 today. And then finally, to wrap up the episode, as the biggest game of the weekend coming up is City versus Chelsea, and we have two knobheads that like those two clubs. We'll wrap up with City versus Chelsea previews. With the knobheads, if we have time. Okay, let's just jump into United, because like I said, we didn't talk as much on their Premier League hopes in the beginning. In the game against Southampton, Ahmed was brilliant. United didn't play well, and they won 3-1 because of Ahmed being Ahmed. And kudos to this group chat and this podcast that have been raving about him since the start. So 1-0 Clash of Clubs. I think that this game kind of bled over into the Brighton one for me. Look, United did not deserve to win 3-1 in the game against Southampton. I don't think they necessarily deserved to lose 3-1 against Brighton, but they did, right? Like, that's just the spectrum of the way things go. I kind of will shelve my thoughts on the game because I kind of want to hear your guys' opinions on it, because my opinion I feel like my opinion compared to the way that everyone else's opinions have been about United during this stretch are different. So I'll let you guys take it away, and then I'll come back.
Always good to get it from another lens. To your point, Southampton game, yeah, they were shocking for better part of 80 minutes. Southampton, who have 6 points this season, looked very comfortable. Sulemana gave Euro his welcome to the league moment. He was just so isolated because they were playing Ahmad back at wing back and issues there, but individual brilliance bails you out. And then Brighton, the flip side of the coin, individual errors can be just as costly as individual brilliance can put you over the line. It goes both ways. I think we've spoken so much about United, but I think that just sums it up perfectly. We're yes, I think Ahmad is one of those guys you can build around, keep him around long term. Just signed a new deal. Unfortunately, Onana's probably going to be one of many that's going to leave in order to get to those points. So I don't think we need to talk too much about who, why, how. We've had a lot of those conversations, but I mean, that just sums it up.
Yeah. Mila, did you have thoughts about United and this stretch?
Yes and no. I got to watch the midweek game. I did not get to watch the Brighton game. So off of the most recent game, I do not have anything to go off of, but I think it's kind of the same of what we've been speaking about, where you guys are in a bad spot. It's not going to get better overnight. So just strap in and hold on.
I feel like it's just disappointing from your perspective. I mean, the Liverpool-Arsenal results back-to-back was definitely, again, building blocks, something to work with, and then just kind of right back to what it was before, where it's this team can really go at someone as an underdog, approach it, counter. They're fine. They're great with that underdog mentality, but as soon as it's Southampton, you can't counterattack against Southampton, right? Once it comes to those types of games, and a team like Brighton, who's more than happy to play that game, you see the other side of the coin. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was frustrating. I mean, just as someone watching the game, where they were still in that game 2-1, and then Onana just spilling one. I mean, we've probably praised him more than most platforms, I'd say, as a whole, but goalkeeper is one of those positions where every single error is highlighted, and it typically costs you a goal. So I just think the number of mistakes he's making at a certain point, it's hard to forgive. I think he's gotten them out of situations this year, but he's also putting them in a lot of situations. So again, just one of many talking points. They are where they are for a reason in terms of the table at this point. Results equal where you are. We're past the halfway point. So yeah, we know what they are. We know what the squad is. It's going to be tough. Amarim said it again. I mean, just keeps saying that. He says it's the worst United team ever. That's tough. I mean, he went from probably not losing for the better part of 2-3 years to losing every week. It's got to be tough on him, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a weird state. And look, as much as people don't like what he's saying, because that's been the big talking point is him going around saying this is the worst United squad in history. Look, statistically
Pound
it
for pound,
is.
pound for pound, I think.
Statistically it is. And him saying that is not. I don't know what else they want him to say. They lost a
He's
game.
honest with you
They
guys.
brought him in to do a job. They brought him in
right.
the middle of the year and said, fix this. So he's evaluating it as he sees it. We're like, hey, there's only so much. We're just seeing like certain players don't work in the system that he plays. And
that's the pressure of being a United manager, right? Like, and I don't understand why it's been such a huge talking point, because you just said what's the truth. They're a bad side that hasn't played well all season, with or without him, and they're gonna try to figure it out. And unless they sign people, look, then nothing's gonna change. And maybe my perspective on it is different because of how long this bad spell is, but like since the turn of the year, they've picked up results against Liverpool, Arsenal. Who else is in there? They beat Southampton, and then they lost to Brighton. That's
alternative.
So it's three relatively good performances, right? You got results, and then one bad one. I don't know what I understand it, but Brighton. This isn't like the Brighton side that has never come into Old Trafford and just hasn't had United's number. Like that, this is a team that has beat United back to back to back to back to back. And this is a third straight fixture. That doesn't change anything for me. Like I wasn't in this fixture going, United are going to win this. So I don't know where this like change of mentality is coming from these fans and these pundits that are saying that this is the worst. United are the worst because they lost to a good side. And it's like, well, but weren't we just praising them for beating and being in games with good sides? I just think that this year as United, we've talked about it, it can't be results based. It's not important anymore, especially in the Premier League. The Premier League's gone. It's just about building.
Yeah, you said it well.
I don't know.
With Amarim not having any of his players in yet, what do you expect him to do? What do you, in terms of results? Like, do you think he's gonna magically get you into the top four? Like, of course not. Like, it's going to be really hard to properly judge him until you see at least one window where he's able to bring in players that he has identified and said, yeah, they make sense in my system, because it is a unique system relative to what we see throughout the league today. So it is going to be hard to properly judge him. I think mentality-wise, he's instilled something in them. We saw that in the games where they entered as underdogs against the bigger teams. They went in there, they did a job. The mentality was there, and then the switch flipped back to off for Southampton and flipped back off for Brighton. But again, those are the little things that they can build off of for the people that he does keep. That's what they can work off of. But again, most of these guys are going to be gone next year in a perfect world, and you rebuild as you should. Like, there's really not much we can judge at this point. We know what the situation is. We know a lot of them aren't good enough.
Yeah,
gotta wait.
I don't know. For me, overarching, right? It's much easier to go against a Liverpool and an Arsenal and play in a 5-back, right, with guys that are more used to playing that style, right? Like you're talking about Dalot and Mazraoui, who are 4-back defenders, right? 4-back wing backs. So it allows them to play more defensive and off the back foot. And so in 2 games where United's had more of the ball, they've looked worse. That's just the system, right? Like until I see this team play with actual wingbacks and I can see his style of play, I can't really judge it. Ahmed looks great. I've thought Bruno has looked really, really good in the last since the turn of the calendar year, and he has multiple uses in this system. I think if you wanted to get critical, the midfield has looked really sloppy the last 2 games, and to grant your point that you brought up, maybe the easy switch is just moving Bruno back and moving Manu forward, right? Like if we want to talk tactically speaking,
Okay.
and he'll have to do something.
Yeah.
But I haven't been. Euro got pantsed in a Southampton game, but he was isolated, like you were saying, and
On
didn't have a wing back.
Island. Yeah.
Yeah. But the back three, the rotation of those guys, they may have an error here or there, but I'm not worried about that. Like if anything, I'm thinking, you know what, that's something you can somewhat build off in the future. Onana's his errors are so heightened and so above and beyond. Like it's like, how does that even happen to a keeper of his type?
He is
of
quality. We've seen the quality.
He literally saved us against Southampton. Literally, the game before was on his head, and then he it's the most ridiculous errors. Which is so funny because like they got rid of De Gea for the errors, right? Like, and it's like fucking Christ. Like, let's just pick let's pick a struggle, right? And for United, it's just like, when Onana played for Inter, they were so good. Like he can make an error like that, and it's like, whatever. Like we're gonna score 4, but United don't score goals, and then he makes a mistake like that, and you're like, for fuck's sake! Like we can't score 3 goals in a game unless Ahmad takes it out of his asshole. Like we're not doing it with you and Net making mistakes. You can't put us behind the 8 ball. That's the issue. Is this side is just behind the 8 ball every single time, right? Like every time they go on the pitch, it's already 1-0. And then you make a mistake, it's 2-0. And you're not scoring enough goals. It's not like Xerxes scoring goals. It's not like Højlund scoring goals. So unless United or Ineos is serious about this and they're able to, like, they already moved off Anthony. So you got to bring in somebody. You can't just, I know he's terrible. I know he's terrible, but he's made sub appearances. He's been used in the squad. So if you're going to bench Rashford and you're not going to allow him to play, which it sounds like isn't an Amram decision, if I'm being completely honest with you. And then you loan out Anthony. Like you got to bring in guys. Like I don't care what type of financial fair play thing is in here. Everybody else has found a loophole. You find one. You're Manchester United. Go ahead. It can't be that. If everyone else is able to do it, which we're talking about, Notts was able to do it, and Everton's done it, and Brighton's done it, and they've got caught. Well, fuck, take a 6-point deduction. Who cares?
Not gonna hurt. Yeah.
Who cares? Yeah, I guess I'm just more upset at the brighter scope of things. But it sounds like they're in for guys.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah, if you're getting rid of guys, fantastic. It has to be done. You have to bring bodies back. Like you said, whether or not Anthony's been of use, he has been a body that's been used. You can't just let him go. You need to put someone else there. Someone's got to play those minutes. So yeah, you got to bring in somebody. I think we brought it up last time, but like Kolomwani on loan. Do I rate him? It's a body. It's an attacking forward position on loan. You don't have to even keep him. Just fucking bring a body in until the end of the year. Something, anything. Yeah.
There's deals to be made. And the kid that we just were, I'm just gonna call him Left because of his because he plays left. That's the type of signing you got to make. You got to take a risk on somebody, and if it doesn't pan out, he's still a talent that you can resell later. Chelsea does that all the time. City just did it
still doing
4 times.
Need to make the sales.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like Garnacho's out, which we'll touch if it actually happens.
Fuck, dude.
But
come on, Conte.
I need to see that you guys don't get fleeced for that one before.
It doesn't sound like they're going to let him go unless it's a real price tag.
I heard Conte's in his ear. I hope he talks him into it.
I also heard that his agent was there at the Chelsea game today.
Fucking Fabrizio's posting it. Posting it, bro. Fucking, I hate this shit, mate. Like his agent, post this. You know what? Oh, bro, they're trying to, like, the agents just do some of the nastiest work. Like, Jorge Mendes has us just like this as well. Clearly, need to get out of this damn fucking flipping people for profit business and start signing, like, usable players for the team right now. It's a bit of a ramble, but the whole Garnacho.
I'm curious to see what United do because they fucking shunned out Rashford for much less. Rashford went to a school, had a charity event, and then said, I'm okay, I think I'm ready for a new challenge. Whenever that is. And then they totally cut him from the side.
They're just looking for something. Yeah.
Today, you've got Garnacho's agent with his pants down at Stamford Bridge saying, come get me. Like, fuck's sake. Yeah. Okay, I'm tired of United. Let's get off of it.
Yeah.
Let's move to another shit team, right? In London.
Which one?
The one with the bird as a logo.
Chicken Ball FC. fuck's sake. I'll take
3-2.
yeah.
3-2 to Everton. Go ahead.
I'll just get in front of this. I was the one talking about Ange, like you got to tweak something. You know, like you have to show that you're trying to do something, and he did. And I was wrong. he went 3 in the back. I don't know if you guys looked at the average position is pretty interesting. He had both fullbacks, wingers on the touchline, way up there. Kulusevski, Madison in the half space, Son up top. So like they made an adjustment. He's making tactical tweaks. They've played in the lower block than they typically do. I think it's cooked, bro. Like I don't see a way back. They're in a horrific injury crisis. That does need to be stated. However, even when they had a squad that was fully fit, they tended to just throw out the same 11. You saw guys like, what's his name? Spence was never even in a squad up until now. He was there last year as well. Archie Gray got 0 time at his actual position. Now he plays center back week in, week out. Dragusin never played. Understandable. It was always Van de Ven Romero. If they were fit, Van de Ven Romero. So I think part of it has to be on Ange for running this team into the ground, given the way they play as well. I'd have to think he's somewhat responsible. Not fully for the injuries, but he's got a part to play there. But fuck, man, like Archie Gray's an 18-year-old midfielder who deputized at both fullback positions and now plays center back next to Dragusin, just killing his development because he's a player. He can clearly play.
He's very good.
He's just not a fucking center back, bro. It's very straightforward.
They don't do anything like what you look at.
Birdball's drowning now. Like
yeah.
But
what's the point of these signings? Like really?
Yeah, I agree. Those are two very talented young players, but in a team that has lots of issues in the present, I feel like you kind of have to address those before you address the future, which is something I feel about my club as well, to be fair. But yeah, 15th is fucking insane. Even with all those injuries. Yeah, bro, fair play to you. Fair play. But
well, you said 9th.
Bro, 15th.
I know, this
like,
is way worse.
The way we talk about United all the time, like, oh, look at them. Worst season. They're horrible. They're above Tottenham. They're above Tottenham.
Tottenham are the only team in the bottom half, or sorry, technically it's not the bottom half, but like pretty much the only team in the bottom half of the table that has a plus goal differential and is drowning.
Oh, it's insane.
They're just the most like
Brighton
all
have
or
a plus
nothing
5
team.
and they're in 10th. And Spurs
Still
are
have a
plus
negative
10.
goal difference. They're in 8th.
Spurs on paper look like a decent team.
They should be, yeah.
Once the game comes and you see it though.
Oh, they had. I mean, their past few performances. I mean, Everton 3-0 at halftime, dude. Like, Everton can barely buy a goal.
I don't even.
To get them 3.
So strange.
And Jai, the second goal, just ran straight at Dragusin, right past him, like he wasn't there. Like, who? I mean, that is one of the craziest signings to me. They brought him in January last year. Who's identifying this guy and goes, yeah, he'd suit Ange Ball? That is one of the worst. That is a heinous. That's some heinous recruiting. But I shouldn't be talking.
Okay, I know hindsight is a thing, but let's just run through their game or their run of games since the injuries started to pile up, and
let's not forget he got both of his center backs hurt by starting them early against us. Okay,
so let's just run through it. After beating City 4-0, they played. I'm just going through the league. They played Fulham. What did you expect? Looking back now,
they should be beating Fulham.
No, not with this side, not with this injuries. No, I'm not looking at that. I'm saying looking at it now.
Let me look at their line.
They drew
at home.
Then they played Bournemouth. Would have expected them to lose that.
Fulham had a red card.
Would have expected them to lose. Then they played you guys. Would have expected them to lose. They beat Southampton. Would have expected them to win.
Yep.
They lost to Liverpool. Would have expected them to lose. Lost to Forest. Would have expected them to lose. They drew against Wolves
at home,
which is bad. Then they lost to Newcastle's. Would have expected it. And then they lost to Arsenal. Would have expected it. And then this last one, Everton, I wouldn't have expected it. But with their side and with the injuries, I can't really blame. I can't blame the manager because we said like, hey, he's got to make changes. He's done that multiple times through this stretch of injuries. Nothing's gonna work because their team's in shambles.
I just don't think the makeup of the team makes any sense. If you're trying like.
How responsible do you think he is for it, though, Dylan? Like, because I think he's at least culpable to some extent. Surely, like none of it. This can't be 0%.
Take some blame, of course, but
30%.
It's a Tottenham issue.
Yeah, it's a Tottenham issue, of course.
Tottenham or Tottenham. Like
Realistically, if I had to ballpark a number, I'd say 30%. I don't think that a majority, like the injuries on this are so absurd. To this
I
point
think
where I
These are
can't.
not new injuries. Like, these players have
No,
been getting injured, and they don't do anything
into the
to
ground.
not even
Because
that, though.
he-
They
out
don't
of
do
nece-
anything to bring people in to cover for them.
It's out of necessity.
So what are
It's
they?
not- it's
What
not
are
like
they
a
No, but
training
even
for?
when he's had a full squad, he never
They're
rotates.
collecting. I know, but they're just collecting names.
I agree.
Fans
I
ball
think
or
the
not,
squad
doesn't
building's
matter. They're
terrible.
just a collection of names
I
there.
think the board is saying you cannot talk about us out public or else you're sacked. Because he's been like, oh yeah, no, they're bringing everything I want. That's a load of shit. There's no chance. These are
I don't get it.
Timo Werner, bro. Like, come on, bro.
Look, who's the manager in third place right now?
Who is the manager in third place? Nuno.
Right, and Conte is in Italy challenging for a title. So you got two teams challenging for titles, not with their managers currently there. I can't blame him because I just genuinely don't believe he's the issue. And I think that they've had a bunch of really good runs last year. It's a very polarizing style of play. And he's literally tried to sacrifice his style to make it work, and it's still not working because every time he comes out there, you know what? Let's have the conversation. He decides to rotate because Van der Ven and Romero are hurt. Who's he putting in?
That's my point.
Dragus.
Though.
You're not. Yeah, you're not making that.
They're
You're not making
doing
that call.
anything to set it up, like set him up for these situations. The way he's playing does not set them up because he knows that he doesn't have the solutions in these situations. I don't understand what the hell's going on over there.
I don't either.
The Jets
It's
defense
a
was
vicious
there
cycle.
seems to
mind-boggling
be
too.
no direction going in it, or maybe there's too many directions and they're going in every which way. But they need to get like on one course.
Out of all the
and I just
fullbacks
don't see it right now.
I've seen play for them this year, Spence has looked the best to me. All
I
encompassing.
called out both
Thinking
the
about all the
fullbacks in the beginning of the
performances.
season.
Yeah,
Their defense doesn't make any sense
Spence
to me.
never got a sniff of a squad, let alone a start before all these injuries. And last
he
year,
was poor in the
no,
games
he
that he
never
did play.
played. Even no, so
No,
they
but
brought
he
him
went
in-
on loan, didn't he?
So they brought him in when Conte was there, and like he's literally
So he's
never
not his
played
player.
for Spurs, bro. He's just never
Yeah, so
played.
he's
So
not-
every single
Yeah.
manager's like, "Fuck this guy, get him out." He's like never played. He's been on loan for like 2 years. Comes back in, and they're like, "Nope, still don't want him. Still don't want him. Everyone's hurt. You got to play him." Regulon, he's still in there. He's still got a squad number. Like, what are we doing? It's crazy.
That's the
it-
thing. There's
that's
just
the
people
thing.
collecting
To your point,
paychecks,
Mila. To your
or
point,
there's
yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't understand.
They're
It's
not
a
on the
Spurs
same
issue, but
wavelength.
Ange needs to hold some of that. 15th is nuts.
Dude,
If
honestly,
they stack him, who
because
comes in and does
they
a better
could-
job?
No, I don't. I'm not saying sack him.
Okay, sorry. That's the media perspective. Is because they're doing so bad. You sack. I just don't know where. There's no
Bro,
direction.
Anyone that
Like
comes
Mila's
into this
saying, there's no
situation in 15th, bro, good luck. If he wasn't in the cups, maybe they would have sacked him. But I think that's what's keeping him in is that second leg, probably.
If they were in Tottenham, they probably would have sacked him.
Yeah, maybe they sack him after
Touche.
advance. It's very possible. But yeah, if you bring any manager into this and go, hey, good luck, we're in 15th, you have no players available, they might get relegated. Like, actually. So I don't think it'd be a smart move to sack him. Sounds crazy, but if they were to sack him, wait for him to get a little higher in the table, avoid relegation before doing it. But yeah, that whole situation is just unbelievable. Yet very
It is
And so
unbelievable.
what if it just keeps dropping and they just don't?
They'll have to sack him at some
Oh, yeah,
point
yeah,
if
yeah.
it continues.
If
But
they're still-
I have a feeling it won't. I feel like if they can get some form of
Apparently
health,
next week, both of the center backs are meant to be fit.
if they can
Don't
get some
back.
health, if
Don't
they can win a
back.
trophy, those are if he can win a trophy with that fucking team, you should just give him a lifetime contract.
Oh, that would be cold. Yeah,
Breaking the curse with that team is unreal.
Yeah, I mean,
I couldn't. Dude, I don't even know.
He did say
He
he'd win
did promise
trophies.
one.
He did say he'd win trophies. That'd be cold as fuck if he pulled it off. He won't.
All right. Well, let's change the conversation from bad teams to good teams. Liverpool won 2-0, and Arsenal had a chance to tie them on points this week. And what did they do?
Did they?
2-2 draw against Villa. Sorry, I just meant they could have picked up 3 points and kept on
in
track.
their game. Yeah, of course. And they did.
At home against Villa, Arsenal dropped points.
2-0.
up 2-0.
Yeah,
Up 2-0.
That was the shocking part for me. Yeah,
Not so shocking.
Dominated. They
they
dominated
looked
this
a lot better
match.
than they have.
they dominated. They looked. They had a couple guys that looked actually somewhat lethal. They felt like they were going to see out this game, and then yeah. No, I'm not. I'm just saying it how it is. He was at fault for both goals, wasn't he?
Yeah, I don't know. 7.3 rating on FootMob.
Yeah, that means they know ball.
Right.
Fucking
Timber at center
unreal.
back. Yeah.
They look dominant before they play so many fucking defensive players. Their injuries to I don't know. I don't know what to say about this team anymore. They do this every week.
Now this one felt different in terms of kind of the way the game was going. This wasn't how they usually go in terms of a disappointing result. Like, it looked very comfortable. Havertz even got his goal, very close to turning it off after that. I'll be real. And then letting Yuri Tielemans ghost in for a header is, I don't know. I wouldn't be happy with that if it was my team allowing it. Oh, man, and then the equalizer, brilliant. Havertz, that was the best part right at the end.
The handball when he thought I don't even know. He knew he fucking handballed it.
Bro, he's done that before. He did that his last year with us. Right after we sacked Potter. Remember Bruno, the bald dude? It was his game against Liverpool. Havertz scored. It was a save from Allison on a 1v1. And it comes right off his hand. Goes in. Bro, celebrated it. Everything, bro. This dude is fucking shameless. I don't get how you can do that in VAR eras. Like, whether it's like to dive or anything like that to celebrate a goal. Like, you know what you did. You know they're going to look at it.
Maybe he thought he could fake video evidence. They would just deep fake someone else on him, and I don't even know.
Odegaard wasn't great.
He hasn't been great.
Yeah, the injury excuse is gone because you should be back at fitness by now. It's been a few months. He's been bad.
Nothing's changed. The injuries to Saliba and Saka. Look, I don't know. To be fair to him, I don't know any team that loses their two best players and is going to end up winning a title. If it's long-term stuff, I don't see it. I don't. This is a boring team, man. This is a boring team that doesn't have enough attacking output. And Trossard's miss at the very end summed up their whole season. It's been there for them, wide open, and they haven't taken their chances, both from a hierarchy standpoint and on the pitch. And that's just what it is. I can't even blame Arteta today because he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't. He coached
to win.
Yeah, and good teams are going to get results off them. Or bigger sides are going to get results off them because they can't score enough goals. Can't put games away. Yeah, I don't really want to talk about it much more. Do you guys have anything else?
Only other thing I remember, Maatsen finally got a start and then deservingly hooked at halftime. That was tough.
Yeah.
That was a tough showing. Maybe that was some good pure profit
shouldn't be
from
in
us.
a 4-back, probably.
Yeah, it might have been some good business. Rice, he was actually pretty decent, but I just
also a weird one to throw Maatsen into, though.
Right,
that was a weird one.
I'm very
more defensive.
The Rice thing, I don't think he was bad by any stretch, but that's not someone you spend 105 million on. Like, he's doing his job. He's doing his job at the best ability he can. He's also probably playing through that broken toe. But yeah, it's confusing, and I think you said it really well. They are not a fun team to watch. As a hater, I'd like to watch and get my evidence, right? Like, I'm not just going to come in here and just start spewing shit. Fuck, it's hard to watch them, like, genuinely.
It's so hard.
Especially when there's no other games.
I can't watch a full game.
Nah, let me go run some errands.
It's so boring. It's so boring. And their goals are because they're fucking rifling it off a player's shins and then getting a corner.
Yeah, they are farming corners.
And their fans and the pundits are all over them about how awesome it is. And I'm like, I don't know how you watch that and think that's awesome.
I do think it's pretty funny.
That's another thing with no direction. Like, where do you go from this? Yeah, there's no improving upon this. This is, if you're cream of the crop for set pieces like this, and you're doing it at such a high volume, or you're doing just cross galore, but you don't have anyone to put those away, then what is the fucking point?
If that's the case,
buying more defenders, defensive midfielders, like, what the fuck is the point of doing all this?
Yeah, I think
you're not going to compete.
Even though they've had some success. Sorry to cut you off, but they've had some success in terms of their club right now. They've improved upon what they were before. There was some direction going there, but if you look at some of the fucking people they've signed, what direction? They went, we need a sixth. We got Rice, and that was the last time they showed initiative to go get a fucking player. I know it wasn't that long ago, but where's the direction this team is going? And I think right now with a lot of the teams in the league, that's kind of where I'm looking at it.
Yeah,
I don't really have much more to say.
I mean, if this is the direction,
it's like, what the fuck? What's the point?
it's got to be McTominay. That's got to be your number one fucking signing. That should be your summer target. If this is the way you're going to play, to your point, like obviously they're not going to go fucking sign McTominay. But point being, like, go sign a fucking giant dude who just finds himself in front of goal and we'll put him away. Like, if that's the plan, right? It is puzzling. They still got time in the window. I don't think they'll do anything, but they can. Šeško's the only name that we forgot to bring up last episode.
He doesn't want, and he doesn't want a loan. He wants him and his agent both want him. If he's going to go, it's got to be a transfer, and he's got to be there for the foreseeable future. And Arsenal haven't seemed to want to do that, which is fucking ludicrous. I don't even know anymore. I don't know. I don't, like I said,
they're waiting for something to fall into their lap, and it's never going to fucking happen. If you want to go get someone, then maybe you'll have some
rubs
success.
me the wrong way with them. That obviously it's not something we haven't noticed, but the time wasting, again, feel free to time waste. There's no problem with time wasting, but you can't time waste all the time and then complain about teams time wasting. It's very. I feel like that's pretty simple. Like I saw Arteta looking at the watch. Come on, buddy, you know better than that, because that's your game. There's no problem with that being your game. If you're up one, absolutely waste an extra 10 seconds. But yeah, you can't be complaining about it when. If any team, we talked about it, most yellow cards for time wasting. I think anyone with 2 eyes, you don't need any other stats. Like they do that all the time. Again, there's no problem with that. Just don't complain when other teams do it. Simple. I just have to get that off too before we move on. That one's crazy.
Boring. All right. The one exciting portion, and I think me and Mila were talking about it, it may be the most parity in the league, but it also, I think, highlights just kind of where every club is at this point in terms of like the bigger sides. But the top 4 race this year is going to be incredible down the stretch here. And I think it's been highlighted by teams like Bournemouth, who go into Newcastle and beat them 4-1 without a pure 9. Kluivert with a hat trick.
Not on pens.
Not on pens. Look, man, there's just so many. The middle teams got better, right? Like the lower end to middle teams in the Premier League got better. And the tops kind of dropped off. But I mean,
we got not waiting for us to fall off. Actually making numbers in this league.
I mean,
whereas the other guys that were supposedly going to step up when we're gone have been a little.
Well, to your point, maybe they were waiting. Maybe they were waiting, right?
I did not expect this.
Maybe they were waiting for Pep to leave.
What is waiting?
What
is the waiting?
I agree.
Like, build it up while it's fucking.
I agree,
now,
but you might be right in terms of the reason everyone's regressing at the top levels, because they were like, "Oh, City's going to win again."
I think it's complacency. Yeah.
And then the other teams, they're going to build regardless. Of course, they don't want to get relegated. Yeah, dude. Of course, Kluivert. As soon as I picked him up in my fantasy team, that's when he started to really go crazy. They looked dominant though, and that's not easy to do at St. James. Like, we always get fucking battered over there.
Definitely a shock win.
Isak,
it was a shock.
Score. I mean, he had 8 in a row.
Like 8 straight. Yeah.
And that midfield, that was their strongest midfield.
Assume that was going to stop at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
Numbers wise, yeah.
They got diced. Bournemouth are serious. They're a good team, and they have fucking Kepa in goal. Maybe not as serious as I thought, but. Yeah, I mean, they shut Newcastle down. Oh, Kepa's shit.
I didn't watch the match. It was way too early for me. I more had broader points of, like, the difference between third or second and 9th is 10 points.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be fireworks all season. Last week, Chelsea are out of the top 4. This week, they're in it. City were outside of it for a while. They're on the door, right there.
2 points off.
Bournemouth jump, right there. It's just incredible that we're going to have a top 4 race that's probably going to be more exciting than at the very, very top. It hasn't. I don't think it's been as the drop of how far teams are going to be able to go has been this large in a very long time. We'll see how this plays out over the next 4 or 5 games, but I just think it's exciting, especially because my team's shit and we're not even close, so I don't have to worry about that at all.
You're above Tottenham.
Building the shadows time.
Yeah.
Don't look at the table. As someone who's been in this position before, don't even think about it.
I don't. Yeah. But what I did learn is that Nottingham Forest can do it, so hopefully my club can do it.
Bro, shout out.
They're gonna win the title. I'm so happy for them. Cool. Let's switch to your guys' clubs because I don't. Did you guys actually watch the game?
Oh yeah, I actually did watch that game.
Oh, you sicko.
You're a sicko.
Yeah,
You're a sicko.
I just happened to be up.
Okay.
No,
You're
yeah,
just insomniac.
Clifford was dicing, bro. That's really the main thing. I was in and out of sleep probably, but I do remember watching like bits and pieces of the game for sure. Yeah, Kluivert just looked like really comfortable. Is the main takeaway I had. Tyler Adams assist.
God, he's awesome.
Yeah, Semenyo, same deal. Watara's been. I mean, he's not a striker, but he did a job.
Doing a job.
He's been playing well.
It took time with Bournemouth, but the manager was able to implement his style of play, and you could see that. They're very bought in. They play as a unit. I mean, when he first came in, I think they had like at least 10 games, and they were in the relegation zone. His first 10 games or so. So it's taken some time, but he's been able to get that team clicking. They'll probably get a bunch of guys poached from them in the summer, unfortunately. But I think
it depends where they finish.
Yeah, hopefully they keep Kepa.
If they can keep
So what I want.
steamrolling like this, then
They look smooth. But like to
changes things a lot.
Dylan's point, in 5 weeks the table's going to look different. It just is. To what extent?
I know, but
they can
takes one
sustain it. Though.
win.
I think they can sustain it.
When do they play you guys?
They just played.
Yeah, we just
never
fucking
mind.
drop points, fucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else?
They're good. There's a bunch of sides that are gonna get
If
there.
Senesi got hurt, we were like, oh, they're cooked because Senesi Zabarnyi was the pairing that was doing really well. Hoyson just stepped in. Money.
He's so chill, dude. He's so chill. He's so chill. He's actually class.
No, he's a player.
He's
Jackson
class.
had him run out. I'm not gonna take this.
Spanish.
All right, on to City. Yeah.
Yeah. Vintage performance, Mila. Go ahead.
I got to watch the first half. Was playing my own game in the second, so go off that. But Gundo was really good from what I saw. I think the first couple minutes it still looked like he was trying to get up to speed leg wise, but from there on he looked like he was pulling the strings. Holland, I thought, had a chance that he should have put away and decided to put it onto his left foot instead of just trying to go for it with his right a little bit earlier in the game.
I remember that.
I think he needs to just trust his weak foot a little more. Situations like those, just do the uncomfortable shot because it would have gone in. It was such an easy finish for someone like him. Who else? Foden. I don't think he had a phenomenal game in terms of overall play, but just looking at his awareness and like activeness around the box, and when we are putting in those crosses, the link up with KDB and Doku, those are exciting things to me. When our attack is like this, it's really fun to watch. It makes it really easy to talk about too. Like everyone's fucking playing well. There's nothing really to shit on. I think everyone did their job last game, but we haven't been really able to say that a lot this season. So it was exciting. Don't think we're back yet, but we have a game this week against PSG. That'll be exciting.
Oh,
God, I can't.
People,
play all the good players.
I have
rotate on the weekend.
I have never been as much of a City fan as I am this week. If I can see PSG stay in that fucking cutoff zone, I'll root for them every time because I fucking hate PSG. Talk about all the stuff of the.
If you want to know thoughts
they're
on
the
foreign
originators.
leagues,
Man, I really hope that'd be fucking class.
I think I also only watched the first half for different reasons. The game was done. I was like, all right, let me go run some errands or some shit. But I think the attack, to your point, looked like almost in a flow state. They looked very comfortable. They looked like they'd been there before, which they have. Foden, to your point, looked really comfortable in front of goal. I forgot which one it was, but almost like a turn, touch, hit, just smooth. That's what you want. And I think part of that has to be the platform you're playing behind. Obviously, it helps to play against Ipswich. The midfield, which you've talked about when we were trying to agenda farm Foden clips. that was your main point, is the midfield's so weak. There's no legs there.
Well, we played a double pivot behind him and KDB.
Right, exactly.
Big thing.
So that
Huge.
helps.
I didn't even talk about that.
I think that obviously helps a ton. To your point, cater to one of the best talents the league's ever seen in Kevin De Bruyne. Yeah, you have to cater to that level. To a guy like Holland who just puts away chances, yeah, you cater to that. So I think it's definitely a step in the right direction. To your point, definitely not back, because back is 6 titles to 7 years level. That's not the level.
Once we do it against a better team,
hey, Ipswich away is a tough fixture, man. If we
smack you guys up this weekend, I'll say we're actually, I don't know, the way you guys have been playing.
Dude, yeah, we've been fucking shaky,
but
man. Ipswich away.
That's totally the type of game. I don't want to go too much into it. That's the type of game that will definitely show if we're consistent with our performances right now, or if that was just a little bit of a
McAtee goal. You take those.
First Prem goal.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It looks like he's gonna stay.
It got the chances as soon as he set him out. I like that.
I mean, he's gonna have. I mean, I don't know. I feel like he's gonna have to stay and play. You guys didn't really. I don't know. I feel like he's kind of the.
I just meant in general. I don't think he would leave in January.
I feel like the more important thing, not more important, but obviously a lot of transfers coming in. I'm kind of shocked that there hasn't been a midfielder come in yet, right? Obviously, Douglas Luiz is the main link we saw, like on loan.
That's a new one too. I know people were wanting that to happen, but the link for that is recent.
It's a simple fix, you know what I mean? Like, bring him in on loan. He does the job.
I don't think they want that, though. So I think we're just gonna have to work that.
But you have to get someone in. You're correct. You would say, right? So what do you think? What do you think? What's that?
We do, in my opinion, have to get someone in.
Well, I mean, you guys have been the most active team in the transfer window. I mean, look, it's so nice when
of all time
manager, top, your top end talent, everybody is in a line, right? Like, it's probably the closest thing to a perfect footballing institution in the Premier League that you can get. There might only be one other club in the world that has a better institution for it.
What's that club?
Don't you dare say it. Don't you dare say that.
It's the only other one that does this stuff regularly. So,
could it be Madrid?
They're the only other ones. But this is, I mean, look, you're like, hey, man, Pep, you're playing. You guys have been playing bad. Here's a new contract. We're gonna give you fucking 300 mil.
Dude, he threw his.
Hey, Holland, you're the best 9 in the world. You're gonna be the best 9 in the world for the next 10 years. Here's a 10-year contract.
115 months.
Like,
that's a tip of the cap. That's hilarious.
Kevin De Bruyne links have been talked about all season, and then he starts playing well, and we might just extend him for a year, because that's what you do to make your best players happy. And like they're doing it right. This is just a game that felt like they were coming together right time.
It's how serious
10-1 on aggregate this year,
too.
How
serious club operates. Yeah, they identify that they're shit for the first time in a very long time, and they immediately go to rectify that as soon as they can. Whether or not this specific approach works, I don't think every single signing is going to be a hit. Just mathematically speaking, it's tough to do, but it's ambitious, and that's what you need to do. You have to salvage the season. You can't not qualify for the Champions League. So,
this is what I was saying about. So like most of the leagues,
and they got money to spend.
We were complacent. Our board realized we were complacent, and we went ahead and fixed it ASAP, as soon as fucking possible. We didn't wait till summer. We could have waited till summer to make these signings, but we're starting it now. A lot of teams don't do that, and then they'll just put their hands up and go, "Oh, Pep and City are gonna win it, so whatever." But like, why the fuck aren't you investing in your team to try to go for it?
And I guess to further that point, you guys are clearly not getting hit with anything, so you guys proved that there's a little. Yes, it'll be a fine. Sure, we'll slap you 200,000 for apparently coming out late. Like, that's the fine that's gonna happen, right? Is like, they didn't start their matches on time. That's the one that you guys are gonna get hit for.
It'll be for non-cooperation, probably.
Yeah,
because we went fuck you.
Yeah, so you guys are gonna win that. Look, the blueprint's there for everybody now to do it. You guys are just the only ones that want to do it. And that says a lot about the ownership and then, the management there, because I don't think any other club, maybe outside of Chelsea, have a board and a manager that are connected that well to where they can be like, hey, I need this, let's go get it. And everyone's like, okay.
Chelsea, they're not telling
in terms of Chelsea, the only thing I need to see from Chelsea in that regard is go buy someone above the age.
Bro, our oldest player, the oldest guy to make an appearance is Tosin.
I know, but he's not established. That's my point. No. He's not an established. Like, he's a good player.
The second youngest, oldest player to appear is 33, for reference. That's
Yeah.
It's drastically younger.
There needs to be some balance in the squad of ages. I think if we want to just tie it into the bigger picture or what we were just talking about, that's where our issues came from. Our midfield's age going up and up. Our defense's age is going up and up, and we weren't rectifying that. In your terms, your average age has gone down so much, and you've gotten rid of all the experience in your club, and now you have no one to fucking just get the guys fucking like hard-headed and get it done.
My captain has played 3 games. He might be back.
The older brings experience and consistency. With younger players, you have inconsistencies, and there's the difference, right?
Oh, yeah.
City's mending that in the middle, and they're going to find some form of consistency again.
Yeah, you need inconsistency in football. There needs to be a bit of unpredictability. Unpredictability.
Yeah, you gotta have flair and style and swag. Yeah, that's never consistent. But you're right. You also
I think we were becoming a little too predictable.
You guys lost.
That was the issue.
Systematic.
And, yeah.
Y'all lost a ton of flair and swag. Now it's off at Real Betis, unfortunately, until June. But you're gonna
don't hate on the goat. Chelsea.
That was a tough watch, dude.
3-1. You guys won. Yay!
As we should. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, I would have been furious if we didn't win that game, but I'm not going to forget how I felt at the end of the first half. Similar to the last Wolves game. At half,
it was literally the same game.
Minus the hat trick in the second half. Saw the game out. Very professional second half, which is what I wanted to see. Probably I'd say up until the last 10 minutes of the first half, there was nothing in it for Wolves. They had a few half chances or openings, if you will, but really nothing. I think I said it in the group chat at like the 18th minute or something like that. Like, oh, Sanchez is their goal threat. I wasn't kidding. Like, I will make a conscious effort to not mention him again. This will be the last time, I hope. Probably not, let's be real. But Rob, like, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. I've brought it up enough times where it's like, oh, best save percentage, all these things, or they see the potential in a goalkeeper. Like I said earlier, the margin of error is very small at that position. And if you are attempting to be a Champions League club, that is very clearly not the keeper. As simple as possible, the guy's horrific. The ball is right in between the two of his hands, you see. And there's 2 ways to go about that. You punch it, just get that shit out, and being 6'6", that should be a simple task. Or you catch it. He fucking drops it and just hands it right to him. He is a disgrace of a goalkeeper. He almost gave the ball... Well, he didn't almost give... Of course, he gave the ball away. There was like a stupid lofted pass he did first time to Cucurella that he gave away, and that almost gave them their first shot of the game early on. I shouldn't have to be worried every time the ball goes back to him. I genuinely am. Every single time. Stressed out. I really mean that. I'm not even joking. So hopefully it's the last time I bring it up, because I'm going to try not to. Goes without saying. I don't care how many good performances in a row he puts together. He has to go. If you're serious, he has to go. It's not going to happen until the end of the year. He has to go. He's awful. I don't think there's going to be much of an argument from the two of you, but he's so fucking bad, and I can't do it anymore. Should have had a clean sheet, but we didn't. Moving on to hopefully more positives. Reece James, we brought it up a while ago where it's like, at what point would I consider maybe you have to move on? I could never. And this game just goes to show, even if we get 15 games a year out of him, he immediately steps in and doesn't miss a beat, whether it's inverting into the midfield. He played as a center back today. Just everything was so smooth. What a player. I really hope he can stay fit. I feel like even I almost forgot how good he actually is at his top.
Yeah, it's hard to remember when fucking...
I know. Exactly. So I'd love to see him put a run of games together. Chalobah, fuck me, man. I think we talked about it a little bit the last episode, but horrific treatment. Like
this, I can't believe how well he's taking it and how well it's being glossed over, because that's fucking horrid. Like, the whole situation is horrid.
From what I'm seeing, it's not being glossed over. Like, it's being talked about. Obviously, I got a different perspective.
You're only Chelsea lens. Like, from a larger media standpoint, no one cares. They're just like, oh yeah, they just ripped him off Palace. Whatever.
Yeah, no, I mean, they took his number off.
He was playing good too. Like, you ripped him away, and he was just like, you know what? I'm Chelsea. I'm here. I'll do whatever you need me, boss. Yeah. And they just immediately throw him in after the boss literally said, I don't want you. Go anywhere but here.
Man of the match.
Took him out.
Yeah.
Should have had a goal.
Fucking Matchweek took his goal, mate. Matchweek was really bad. Before I get onto that, Chalobah, again, what I just said about Sanchez, the opposite for him. And when it's not Fofana or Colwell, I'm nervous when Disasi gets the ball. I think he's shown enough to justify me feeling that way. I get very nervous when he's on the ball. And Chalobah, just nothing there. I think like first 5 minutes, really good tackle. He's just sound. Is he world-class? Does he have world-class potential? I would not go that far. He's a really good squad player, a sound center back. I don't mind him starting games. Good to have him back. I clearly banished him for pure profit reasons. I think that's very obvious. He's miles better than Disasi. If he's our backup center back, I'd be more than happy. We'd probably try to sell him again.
You guys slapped a 40. Like, that's I don't even know how anybody could look at you guys for these guys anymore and be like, yeah, like, let's do business. Because like the whole point of a loan is to get a guy out of that, and then you guys rip him away after he's had a good and productive season, and they go, yeah, it'll cost you 40 if you want him.
We should rip
what the fuck? And you guys are trying to get Gahey too. It's nuts. It's nuts.
I think the Gahey thing's a bit smoke screens.
It might be now.
Who knows?
But there was probably conversations before.
Yeah, I mean, it came out. I mean, again, there's so many reports. It came out like, oh yeah, both parties know this is not a permanent solution. They're both gonna seek a different solution at the end of the year. Yeah, it's fucked up from a human point of view. I would be if he said "fuck off," I'm not coming back. I would not have had a problem with it. Like I would have felt the same way. Yeah, he's proper. He really is. I love the guy. We'll always have a soft spot for him. I thought Palmer was actually really good today. No GA, unfortunately, for all those type of people out there. But I think he did really well to just kind of get the game going. When we play a team of 5 in the back, it's more of a 3-1-6. So he had Cucurella and Dewsbury Hall to either side of him. And he was just kind of in the middle, really freedom to roam. And he ended up dropping deep quite a bit and finding that pass out wide to kind of get the play going, move us quickly into the final third. I thought he did really well today. Matchweek, like I briefly mentioned, I thought he was really bad. Particularly off the ball. Whether or not, I have no problem with him trying to take guys on. That's his job. That's what we pay him for. A few different times today, he lost the ball and just kind of gave up. Compared to earlier in the year, he was doing a fantastic job on both sides of the ball. He was awful defensively today, which I thought should have gotten him hooked at halftime, if I'm honest. I thought when Neto came off, should have been Matchweek. Ends up getting the goal. Saw a lot of comparisons. People were saying Salah. Obviously, it is funny, objectively. But, yeah, I thought he was bad. Masked it with a goal. But we need to see better from those wide positions like we've talked about. If you're not going to get the goals from Jackson up top, obviously Palmer's Palmer, someone's got to chip in. Whether it's Enzo from midfield who's not fit, one of your wide players you would like to probably score some more goals. Matchweek's got 6, 4 of them are against Wolves. Jackson, I didn't think he was bad per se, but again, no goal for him.
He's your striker.
He's struggling. He's definitely struggling. He's in a tough rut. And I think it would benefit him to be able to drop him for a game. But we don't have that luxury because we've spent a lot of money and not filled all the holes in the squad. Probably bigger picture.
You guys could probably just play a false 9.
Oh, bro, we could throw Palmer.
Manager doesn't want
him. Kunku, I'm done with
He's not scoring. It doesn't matter.
Hey, look, the manager, we've talked about it, doesn't trust these guys to do that.
Yeah,
he doesn't trust João Felix and Kunku to do it.
And I don't understand.
It doesn't make any sense to me either.
That's
play that hard nose. I don't trust him bullshit, but like you.
I'll explain that one for you. That comes down to recruitment, in my opinion. I think Nkunku's a very talented player. Clearly doesn't fit into this squad, if you think about it, right? He's a 10, can't play as a 10 because you have Palmer and Felix. Not a great 9. They've signed players like Disasi, who again do not fit into this type of system. Or yes, they signed him under Poch, but they were always thinking, let's sign young, technically gifted players. That was the profile. DeSassi clearly doesn't fit, isn't trusted. A Chempong getting starts over him, who's an 18-year-old. Yeah, he's shown he isn't trusted players. Bringing Guiu on as a sub up top over Nkunku. Nkunku's not a 9. So recruitment, we need to be on top of them as a fan base. We need to hold them more accountable. Especially during the year when the results were going good, I was on top of the moon, on the clouds, loving. Yeah. Once you get back down to earth, you can reevaluate it from hopefully a more rational perspective. Yeah, there's been some horrifically wasteful spending. Why did we spend $45 million on DeSassi? I mean, look at your defenders. I think James, of course, Colwell, and now Chalobah, obviously one game. There's all your good defenders. A Chempong.
All academy.
I think all of those guys are better than DeSassi and Badiashile. And I don't want to single those guys out. I don't think they're bad players. But it's just bad management up top. You can't be just signing guys to sign guys. We made the jokes when we were in 12th, yeah, fuck it, he can't hurt. At a certain point, I would like to think this is the point. Okay, let's kind of bring it back in a little bit. We have 8 strikers on the books already, and 3 of them are loaned out in Brazil. Enough. Enough is enough at a certain point. We have to stop wasting money and laundering it. Speaking of money laundering, though, I do want to give a shout out to Kieran Dewsbury Hall. He did play really well today. I did not. I really didn't.
Good performance. Yeah.
I really didn't trust him to start, bro. Conference League, he didn't look great in that position. And I think the point I made when we were watching the game, it's a lot easier to be like a glue guy when you have everyone else around you be better than you versus in the Conference League. It's like, hey, we're relying on you to be a big cog in the system. He was just a complimentary piece today. Got into the right spaces, knows the system well, obviously. Just find the right space, lay it off, find the next guy, run towards the box. Got his assist by flicking a header on. I think he did well. But still doesn't mean it's a good signing.
To kind of, I was going to say, he played well against the championship level side. He's a championship level player. You guys paid a ton for him.
He was good in the Prem when they got relegated.
It's like...
Yeah, we wasted money on it, 100%.
No, I'm just... That's how I look at this.
Yes.
Like, he had a good game. That's awesome. He played a championship levels team.
Yeah.
Because that Wolves team is fucking awful.
That's another one I got wrong. It was fucking Grant's a dipshit episode, dude.
No, I thought they were. I thought they would be better than this too.
I did not think they would.
Oh, they're garbage, dude.
Cunha was awful.
Another collection of names. The whole league's a collection of names at this point.
Cunha is the only bright spot because look, he's trying to do everything by himself.
They got
and Aiden.
That's it. Bro, that was a good one too.
No, they got other ballers.
Bro,
no. I'm saying today, like I watched them, watching them play. It was the only two.
Sarabia started. I forgot he.
Those two dudes are gonna get. They can go wherever they want at the end of the season. Those are the only two probably Premier League talents where like they could go play for
the top. On loan,
but he's not a top 6 guy.
No.
I'm sorry. Those two guys can go play for a top 6 team. I think.
Did you notice they switched their wingbacks at like the 30th minute?
Yes.
That was so weird.
Wait, he just swapped him?
Yeah, he was playing. He was on the right and Semedo on the left. Like they were playing.
It was really weird. I'm assuming it was to get Nuri off of James and onto Kukurea because he was inverting. And literally the entire time, Nuri was going from wing back all the way to striker, and Larson didn't make a single run.
That's why we scored 6 goals against them last time, by the way, because Nuri was just wandering in the middle, and then we just kept winning the ball in the final third. Speaking of winning the ball in the final third, that's the last thing I wanted to kind of speak on regarding our performance. Jackson has not been good in this run. We can say that. We can also say the most important thing with a striker is goal scoring. That's the most important attribute. The drop-off when you bring on Nkunku in the press is so noticeable. Any team can just play right through us and get the ball in the final third. It is that bad of a drop-off to where I confidently start Jackson the next game over Nkunku, even if he's not in this good goal-scoring form, because off the ball, it is that significant where Nkunku just doesn't really do anything versus Jackson. Even until the last whistle today, dead sprint right at the keeper, keeping them pressed. And that's how we create a lot of our chances, is winning the ball back in their first third, in the press. It is very valuable, and I do want to commend him for that. I think the goals will definitely come back.
The way Dylan's smiling.
Oh, I know. He's just going to cook me for some shit. But
I'm about to.
Yeah, but let me just finish it. I appreciate that.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to come back to him. It's a bad run of form in front of goal. It's very easy to hang your head, but he still keeps working hard, so I want to commend him for that. Hopefully we get in the goals next week. Dylan, whatever you want to say.
Congratulations, Grant. You are a fan of Rasmus Højlund.
No, I'm
You've
not.
done it. You've
No.
done it. A pressing machine who can't score goals but does things to put his team in better positions. That's Xerxes in this last form of games. That's Højlund and Xerxes.
Does he have good link-up play? Is he able to receive the
That's
ball?
Højlund. I'm not saying one-on-one. I'm saying in the last stretch of games, you're talking about Højlund and Xerxes because that's what Jackson's providing.
Jackson's good hold-up play. I forgot to mention Jackson's good hold-up.
Xerxes.
Yeah, different player.
That's Xerxes and Højlund. I'm talking about United strikers. Like that's what you're you're doing. What I've been doing all season with Jackson. Yeah. I think he's got to score goals because yes. To a larger sense. You play this game against City next week, it might end up like Ipswich. It could. It really could. You can't not score goals.
I don't think they
dude. Wolves had chances. They had chances.
If we're going to talk about that game, we could talk about that game, but I'm not going to go deep into that game.
Honestly, that game, for me, I guess, again, who gives a shit about the Wolves game and all the grand scope of things? I think our game really comes down to two things, is obviously the goal scorers. I think Haaland and Jackson, you know what you're getting out of Haaland. It's about, will he get the chances? Will he put them away? Jackson, it's very straightforward. We know how he plays. We know the qualities he has. He needs to score. Let's just put it how it is. He does need to score. So it comes down to that.
Do we want to talk about the game?
I mean, I don't have too much to say, to be honest. I'm kind of done with the Wolves game. So, yeah, we can chat about it for a little bit.
I think it's a massive game. This has massive implications. 100%. This is by far the biggest game of the... I think it could really send both teams in a direction. Like, if Chelsea win this game, that's a huge step. It's a massive, massive step. And for City... You're already riding this wave. You're going to have transfers coming in, and you're already back into top four, and you have the point control. This is a big one for from an outsider's perspective. I think it might be the biggest game of the season for both teams.
It's a huge game
right now.
Yeah, they're 2 points behind us. We're in fourth, they're in fifth.
It's 6 point swing. No
I think the game comes down to the strikers and the midfield for me. Our fitness there has been really bad as of late. Enzo's not. We had one. Well, Dewsbury Hall. Caicedo was the only one fit. Lavia's out for a long time, so he's not going to play. Enzo hopefully is fit to be able to play in the City game, or else we're cooked. I'll put that out there. But our midfield been very good this year. I think physically Caicedo's able to hold his own there. Cucurella, when he steps into the middle, does his job physically as well. Same with Reece James and what we've seen. Versus an older, more leggy City midfield. So that's what Chelsea need to exploit to win the game. It's just that, can they really get that off and also finish the move at the end? That's really what it comes down to for me. It's just the midfield and then up top.
Yeah. The up top thing is super concerning from a Chelsea point of view.
Not my
for me, because unless which it totally could happen, but Palmer's the only outlet right now. He's the only, like, in the last 5 games. No, this is a stat. He's the only one who scored.
Yeah, goal scorer.
That's not.
Whoa!
We're set
Uncle
piece
Tosin.
We're set.
No. From
you're saying the attacking players. I know. Uncle Tosin has three goals in 3 games though. The past 3 games.
Yeah.
That's concerning, man.
The solution is there. A gigantic.
That's why we're not winning. Yeah, it's very straightforward.
It's a massive concern. And the City have leaked goals, and if you can't score against them,
they're not going to not score against us, bro. They're 100%.
Yeah,
past us. Like that. That's happening. So
getting Foden
my
on this
hot take
run
is that you guys are going to get shut out. Strong.
I don't think that's that hot. We've been pretty shut
that's
in front of
kinda,
goal.
No, we've been the worst defense in the league. It's a pretty hot take.
I guess it's
coming off a clean sheet.
It's they're coming.
It's Ipswich.
I know.
Yeah. Our goal scoring form's clearly been pretty bad in this drought, and you guys' defense has been comically leaky.
The big thing is, I think the new signings are gonna
unstoppable force meets a movable object, baby. That's what. I mean, I'm also seeing. I'm seeing people post like, "Oh, Chelsea are the second highest goal scoring team in Europe." Don't put the Conference League games in there, bro. Let's.
Yeah, that doesn't fucking count.
8 goals past Noah. I loved him. I enjoyed all of them. I celebrated him shamelessly, but let's not take the piss.
I think, in terms of this matchup this weekend, if our guys do debut, it's going to be a lot on them. Kusanov especially.
That's a huge ask.
Yeah. Well, no, not for him to do it. Like, he just needs to play solid. But I want to see that energy that we're bought him for along the Diaz, trying to get you guys shut out. And then on the flip side, someone like Marmoush coming in, probably going to play in that left wing role.
Are these the right games to throw in new guys? Marmoush,
Especially
I'm more
after
comfortable
I
with-
don't know.
and-
I don't think. Well, okay, Doku can't play
Marmoush
that
is
often.
25.
Pepe
so, I
said
mean,
it every game.
So maybe I'm forgetting that you guys are playing midweek against PSG.
It's not
and you
just a
have
game.
to win.
Yeah,
I
we
totally.
have to win.
I'm kind of forgetting
Have
about
to
that.
win. So we're going to be playing a lot of our big names, and none of these new transfers can play until the knockout stage.
yeah, we're
if we make
totally. It's
that
a
far.
1-1 now.
So what do you mean 1-1?
I think this is going to be super high scoring.
fucking- It's going to be a fucking basketball game.
Well, don't
Dude,
if it's like the game at the bridge last year, bro, I want
The
No,
4-4?
not like that. I
I
think
want no
momentum-wise,
parts.
it'll be like that. I don't know about the
There's gonna be
goals
chances flying
necessarily
left
being
and
like
right.
that.
Yeah, both of
Chances,
us.
yeah.
I mean, obviously, Maresca's a Guardiola disciple, but both teams can be got as soon as they get turnover possession. Once they're comfortably in possession, as soon as they lose it, that's when you break. At least that's when we're wide open. City in the past, especially as of late with the bad run, seems to be when they get caught out. So you probably start Neto, right? You would think. Matchweek, I hope he does start. Maybe Sancho, or
You have to start Sancho.
I think Sancho Neto is probably your best bet.
The biggest weak point for me when it comes to City is you cannot play Nunes at right back again.
He's
I
going to
don't-
play right back.
I really don't like that. I think that's
I think
that's a
reason
nightmare.
Foden's playing well. It's the
Yeah,
it's
I
the
know,
reason
but
Foden's playing well.
Oh, it's so tough. Like,
You
I'd
know-
love to see Rico play, but you're right, because
Rico
that's the
can't
other
be
thing is, like, I was going to say is...
Rico, if we had some size in the team, could play in this game. We have no size. And then
If
asking him to do his inverted
do you think
shit.
he could do it with Diaz? This was his first game back, right?
Size in the midfield, sorry.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Because Rico's going to be inverting. He's not that overlapping wing back that, like, Nunes is playing right now, which lets Foden do the inverting.
Kukurea
Is he
is
like
just
a-
a bit of a cunt.
He's everything, dude. Oh,
He's a
what?
bit of a cunt, and
What? What are
and
you talking
Foden's...
And he's awesome.
I'm saying it in a good way.
Yeah.
In this context, I think that Foden has the chance to dominate the game. He's been in insane form. He's just the reverse Salah. I guess.
The anti-Salah.
Yeah, the anti-Salah. It's look, if De Bruyne and him play the way they played this week in the last couple
Title
weeks. Hey man, anyone but
Now let's build him up and tear him down, Dylan. Come on,
he
they're in it.
who shall not be
Can't tear
named.
us down.
Who shall not be named. This comes down to star players for me. This feels like a star matchup, right? You got Cold.
But which ones are playing?
I'm assuming it's
That's
going to
the
be
thing.
Cold
Palmer
and
will
Foden
play. Yes, I know
and
Palmer will play.
Surely Palmer plays.
Palmer, Foden, Holland all play.
Cucurella.
Caicedo. Oh, actually, I'm not sure.
Caicedo
That
might
was
not
a
play.
really ugly injury.
Bro, he's done that.
just
That's like the
sho-
fifth time he's done that. It's like the fifth time
He
he's
looked
done
like
that.
he was dying.
No.
I was
There
so
was a point-
concerned.
I know I saw him do it for
So
Ecuador
concerned.
during the summer, and I forgot which game, but I do remember a game last year. I'm like, holy shit, his leg exploded. And then he just gets up. We cannot run him into the ground. We should recall one of our midfielders. I've talked about that enough, but yeah, he needs to be protect that.
Running out of time.
Protect
Yeah.
that fucking man. Please.
I think if it was me this week and I was Pep, I'm playing Savio midweek and I'm playing Doku at the weekend.
No,
And I'm forcing Reece James to deal
Oh,
with
well, no,
Doku's
that
pace.
will happen. Savio
That's
will
that's
play
the that's
midweek.
the smartest decision you can make is try to put.
Reece locked him up last
Bernardo
year.
didn't play.
No, I'm not saying that Reece
Bernardo
won't.
didn't play over the weekend, did he?
No,
No, he
So
didn't.
He's
Bernardo-
definitely starting against PSG then.
that's what I'm
So
saying.
he's
Like
going to be on the right. Savio's going to be on the left. Doku and Marmoush have to play on the weekend then.
these signings just put you guys back in alignment for rotation, and you guys, it's just going to be a really fun game. I'm super excited because both teams
I bet you
finally
are.
got back on form. It should make for an exciting game. If it ends up being 0-0, I will come on this podcast next week and will light up everything.
I can
Because I'm excited
almost
for it.
assure you
Virtually.
there will
Yeah,
not
virtually.
be a 0-0.
I
can
can
almost
say
guarantee
that
that.
too, but
I-
I now that we're putting it out there, it's going to happen.
I just said I'm not bringing his name up, but you know why? It's not going to be 0-0.
There's two knuckleheads in goal. They're both so sped sometimes.
There's
If
no one-
Cucurella starts, Holland will score.
yeah,
They don't
no,
even have to be near each
Yeah,
other.
they don't
It
like
just will
each other.
happen.
To be fair to Cucurella, he's
No,
been...
they were chill about
Oh,
it.
of course, yeah. That's
Yeah.
banter. That's the game. Cucurella's been unbelievable, man. I always
He
talk
has.
about every role. He plays every role, whether it's the center back, the 6, 8, 10. Or he literally played as a midfielder in this game. They took off Dewsbury Hall around the 70th or so, and then he played in the pivot. Like, he played as a midfielder. That guy's... he scored goals. Like,
He's been really good.
he's the Swiss Army knife, and I think he's so crucial to how we play because there's all these minor tweaks, and he can do any job. So, yeah, well played to Cucurella.
All right, give me your predictions. Let's hear them.
2-2.
This is at City.
Yeah.
2-2 from Grant. Mila.
Go 4-2.
4-2 City.
Yeah.
How many of those are like nice goals, and how many of them are errors that you capitalize on? Just curious.
It'll be.
How did that come to your head? Or is it just 4 dumps, dude?
It won't. I mean, they don't need to be thumps, but just looking at the way we play today, like De Bruyne, there was just like some simple, not today, but that last game, simple elegance in the way he just shifted his body and just like flinged it to Foden for that first goal. Like it was it wasn't anything crazy where I was like, oh my god, but it was just like, what the fuck? Like, how did you just do that? So it's like, I don't think they're gonna be bangs. Unless Kovacic gets a fucking revenge goal.
Again.
Revenge.
Bro, I said in the chat today, I said like average Kovacic shot because he shot one fucking way over the bar. No. Next shot, prick, scored.
Yeah. But he looks like he's gonna have his best goal
ran
scoring
the game against
year.
us.
If he hasn't already had his best goal scoring year. He's been a little more consistent in that front, so I could totally see a Kovacic bang, but I don't think... It depends how much you guys are sitting, though. Because if you guys are sitting, it's going to invite Kovacic to shoot like that a little more.
There's definitely going to be periods of the game.
If you guys are a little higher up and keeping us out, then probably...
Like, you don't understand, I'm literally thinking about it, and I'm getting anxiety thinking of how we're going to play out from the back. Like, I'm literally just thinking about it, I'm like, fuck. Like, it's just going to be stress. Like, it's the worst.
Yeah.
I hate that.
It's the worst. I'm going 3-1. I think Holland gets 2 because I just don't think that back line or the 2 center back pairing with Holland just sounds like
I don't even know who they're going to be.
It just sounds like it's going to be bad. I think Foden gets 1 and then Palmer gets a pen.
C.O.C cooked at the Etihad last year. That was the best game he's ever
played.
Sorry,
Dylan.
No. I was saying Holland 2, Foden 1, Palmer penalty.
That's safe.
3-1. I don't know when those goals are going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be 3-0, if it's going to be 2-0, then he gets a pen, it's getting nervy. And then Holland just bombs one. I don't know. Like
the Martial pen at the Etihad?
Mm-hmm. There's just a couple of things that swing this to City for me. I think that there's just a good vibe going about the team. Whether the signings play or not, they're going to be shown in that stadium.
For sure.
And
I think they're going to play, though.
To get into the Pep system right away.
I don't know if they'll start.
I feel like that's
Marmouche will play, and
I
think you guys are totally underestimating how injury prone Stones and Ake are.
Yeah, that's true.
Ake's out again. Stones can't. He's not even.
No,
back
I'm not
so
thinking.
I think we might have to play one of those, unless we're gonna run Akanji into the ground, who's been suspect.
Oh, have you thrown something on the? Speaking of, have you thrown something on the grill yet, Mila? For imminent departure in the back line?
Oh. I haven't talked about him in weeks.
I know, but I'm saying it's almost that time. Are you excited?
Who are we talking about?
Excited and happy, yes.
You going to give him a salute off?
I will, yeah.
Yeah,
you shouldn't. He's a bad human being.
Yeah, sure, but he also shut down a bad human being, a Vinny Jr., so...
I'm kidding. He did service. Fuck.
Yeah.
He is a bad human being, though. I'm not going to let him slide on that.
It's
okay.
So, Grant,
not the type of guy I'd want to be my captain.
Can't even give your team the dub? Just curious.
Dude, okay. I'm not very confident in this current stage of things. For your guys' points, dry in front of goal. Told you I'm not talking about him. And injuries in the midfield in the short term. definitely worry me. Enzo has to play. Yeah, there's a few things going against us, especially with City. I don't know. Obviously, it hasn't been too long. I think they're back into it. They're not the dominant team they were, but they're not going to be They're not going to fucking roll over. We're clearly past that. So yeah, I just want a good performance, man. I want a good 90 minutes. We've had good performances and then dropped off significantly within the same 90 minutes. I'd like a consistent 90-minute performance. Whether that leads to 1 point, 3 points, I don't care. I'd like to be able to build off this.
Anything is possible. Big teams, big players get up for these types of games.
Yeah,
very exciting.
I'd like to think Jackson saved all of his goals for this, but yeah, probably not.
Fair enough. All right, let's do a combined 11. We're gonna do it a lot easier this time.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say the players' names in the position, and you choose one or the other, and then whoever gets it the most, right? Like if it's 2-1, that player's in the team.
Yeah.
Okay. In goal,
whoever you want.
Ederson or Sanchez.
Ortega.
I say Ederson or Ortega. Yeah.
Or Jorgensen.
It's simple. That one. It's Manchester City's keeper for that day.
Yeah. Whoever they want to play. Yeah.
Okay. Right back, we'll go Reece James versus Nunes because I'm assuming to start. I'm going Reece James.
I think we're all going Reece James.
And Grant's going Nunes. So it still goes to Reece James. No, those
just for the record, guys. I didn't do that. I voted Reece.
Those are probably the two easiest ones. I'm gonna include Colwell because I think that he gets up and he's fit for this. Okay, so let's go. Because he plays on the left, so does Diaz,
Colwell,
right?
So Diaz and him both do.
So Colwell or Diaz?
No, I want both of them as my center backs.
No, but we're choosing one or the other.
I mean, well,
I'm taking Diaz.
It probably should be Ruben Diaz. Yeah, I mean,
no, it's who do you want, and in your combined 11. Who would you want?
Let's make you do the tiebreaker. I'll go Colwell.
I'm taking Diaz, but we could have conversations about it in 2 years when one of them's 80.
Give it.
What 80?
I don't know how old Ruben Diaz is.
Like 27.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking old. Dinosaur.
He's quality, but Ruben Diaz is one of the best.
Superman.
So then the right center back will go Tosin or Akanji.
Or Kusanov. We haven't seen that.
I'd probably go Akanji.
Ooh.
Mila's got a soft spot for Uncle Tosin.
I'm going Uncle. I'm going
scorer.
Uncle Tosin. He's got 3 and 3.
As someone who needs some box presence, I would love an Uncle Toast.
Dude, he's our best header of the ball by far.
Yeah, no shit. He's 6'5".
He's a fucking unit.
I should have worded that better. In front of goal, like the amount of times like he's the one getting on the headers, set pieces, and corners. Yeah, he's a good little goal scorer, Tosin.
Yeah,
I'm going Tosin.
I'm going Tosin.
That's okay. So Tosin's our center back.
Not been.
I'm thinking treble Akanji. Maybe my vision is clouded.
Alrighty, we're gonna go left back now. Cucurella or Gavardiol?
Cucurella.
Mila.
Gavardiol. I can't do that.
That's fair.
I can't do that.
That's so fair.
Well, man, they've both been really good at different points this year.
And really bad.
No, Cucurella's been good all year.
Cucurella's been
good all year.
Cucurella scored today, and he's been better over the last stretch. I'm gonna go Cucurella, which I don't like saying, but someone's probably gonna pull his hair and get a red card.
No, that's not a red card.
His pants are gonna get pulled down.
I hope so. I don't like him. So
let me correct you. It's a red card to pull his hair, but feel free to whack him across the head.
Clothesline, whatever. I'm good with that too. Hair pulling, not cool.
That's a crazy
clothesline's cool.
I would go up to the ref if I were a City player, like, just to be clear, like, this is not a red card. I would go up and make sure, and the first thing I'm doing is whacking dude across the head. But, all right, so we got the back four sorted.
Midfielders. We'll go with the 6. Caicedo or Kovacic.
Yep. Next.
Kovacic. No, Caicedo.
Caicedo.
Yeah.
Clean sweep. This, I feel like the second one's probably easier too. Yeah, the 8. For me, it's Enzo. I'm going Enzo here. It's either him or Gundogan, so I'm going Enzo.
Oh yeah.
Right? I don't know who else it would be.
Yeah.
I'm just going off last.
It could be, but yeah, probably not.
I'm still going Enzo. Oh, yeah. Okay. Cool. Now it's time to have some discussions. Ah, fuck. I guess not really. Right wing. Madueke or Foden?
I'd probably go
Foden.
Bob, to be fair.
Fuck. God damn it.
It could be between Neto as well. But yeah, I'd give it to
Mm-hmm.
Foden, especially if we're throwing him on the right. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sorry, Neto doesn't
Not
make.
a conversation.
I guess it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter
Not a
because Foden
conversation.
wins for.
Not a conversation.
Wow, this seems disrespectful. No, let's go left wing
This
first.
is the argument we
Yeah.
got into earlier.
Sancho or Stoku?
Dude, I'd fucking take Marmouche over all of those guys
We
immediately.
can't.
Okay,
He's fucking one of the highest scoring and assisting forwards in the top 5 leagues, as is right now.
Timo
Like,
did it
why
over
is
Hasn't
he
there,
even
not-
been has he been announced by the club?
No.
He's getting announced tomorrow.
Yeah, Timo did it over there, Mila. I don't doubt
Tomorrow.
him being a good player. I really don't.
I just don't
I'm
think
not
he
saying
plays.
he's going to be Timo, but I'm saying
I don't think he
haven't played in
starts.
the league yet. I can't do that.
Okay, so sorry. Would you rather have Doku or Savio in this left wing hypothetical?
I'm taking Doku and Savio over the
Given the
Chelsea
current
wingers
form, I'd
at
give it
left
to
wing.
whoever Mila nominates as well.
But
Wow, really?
It just
Sancho's been
depends.
good, man. He just
Dude.
isn't producing.
I think so. I think he's been good.
I'll give him credit where credit's due. He's been probably their best attacker outside of
Yeah.
Palmer. He just doesn't score or
Yeah.
assist, but nobody's done that. So I'm just giving him credit. I'm still taking Savio
Yeah.
or
I think
Doku.
I don't
Savio's
know if
been
I'm
in a
taking
really good run of
Savio
form.
over
I
Doku.
take
After
recently.
some
I
of
just
the
got
things I've seen. I know, dude. This is the thing with Doku, though, is when he plays good, he looks unstoppable.
Sometimes
Whereas
maybe good.
Savio's game is beautiful, and like you can see that he's gonna be really good at some point. But when Doku is on, just it's like I don't know.
I don't know.
I guess if he's gonna be up against Reece James,
okay. Sorry, little hiccup, but we're back.
what was I saying? Oh yeah, Doku over Savio against a Reece James. Make that hamstring work, baby.
You got to at least test
It
it.
did well last time, but yeah, it's still a
You
test.
got
Doku's
to
a fast
test it.
man.
And to
Doku's
your
a
guys'
fast,
exact
fast
point on
man.
Doku, the last performance against the player really doesn't mean much for me. Like Reece James did very well with him last time. That doesn't mean Doku can't give him a spin. It's not easy. It's a very good right back, but yeah, that's a tough winger to face 1v1. So
It
that's why I'd like
could
Neto to
definitely do a
start
job.
because you need to help
Yeah.
out your right back.
I no, I think Reece is gonna be able to make it a battle no matter who's starting there on the opposite of him. But
Because he gave Gusto issues in the return fixture last year. That I remember.
who?
But Doku. Gusto had his
Doku?
moments for sure.
Yeah, he's
but,
talented.
but yeah, Doku. Yeah.
If
Whoever you want on the-
Lavia was healthy, do you think he would start Caicedo there?
I can't even have that
Just curious.
conversation. I can't even have the conversation. Oh, if he's fit, yeah, it's him and Caicedo in a pivot, I think.
Okay.
That's when we looked
Can I
really
say that
sharp.
the right back?
No.
Yeah,
You put them
that's where he's
together,
played him when Reece
and then
hasn't
you
been
just
healthy.
put-
Sorry, that's
and
what I
then you
was
put-
asking.
Yeah, you
That's
put
Dylan
one
was
of the
asking about Caicedo on the right back.
right back.
Like
No,
Caicedo, Lavia, and that
Yeah.
pairing. Sorry, to get all three
yeah,
of them.
I think so. It's hard to say because that I think we looked our most solid and secure with that setup. I do think we lost a bit. I'm trying to think when we didn't play Enzo and it was just the Lavia Caicedo pivot. We were very secure, but didn't really have anything to
Nothing
link the
going
midfield
forward.
with the attack. I think
Yeah,
Enzo's
fair
shown
enough.
his value there. When you invert Caicedo, the downside to that is the defensive awareness is not the same out of position. We saw that when he gave away the penalty. So yeah, it's tough finding that balance, and also Reece James wasn't fit for any of those games where they were experimenting, saying, "Oh, our best 11 means Caicedo's at right back inverting." We don't know yet. Reece James played in the 6. He's played as a center back. Him and Cucurella, Reece when he's fit, of course. They're very versatile and talented players, technically, to be able to really do any role of the modern fullback. I do think Lavia would probably be playing, but his fitness is such a large question mark now. I've honestly got him in the Reece James category of hamstring, which breaks my fucking heart because he's a very gifted player, but yeah, he's apparently hurt for who knows how long, and he played a half, so that sucks.
It does suck. All right, let's move to the 10.
I think we should finish there because striker's Holland.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's fair. The striker is Holland.
Yeah,
Okay. So then the 10, it's Palmer or KDB. This is a conversation we were
I
talking
think this
about at the
comes down
beginning
to
of the
your
year.
vote. I know this comes down to your vote because I don't think Mila goes against his guy. You can't. I don't understand.
This
He's
is
still
this
Kevin De Bruyne. Like he just is.
this is the most difficult one just based off
Yeah.
of pure form because Kevin De Bruyne has been really good and City have looked really good. Two of the most important players to their team, maybe in the last, 2 or 3 years. We're talking about two. Probably could go down as one of the greatest midfielders of all time, and then one of the rising stars of the game. And I think that both of them are going to have an insane impact on this one. I have no idea. I have no idea who to go with here.
Well, it is up to you.
I know.
I'm not gonna say a word.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna let you work it out.
This is so tough because this has been the conversation we've had all year. I'm gonna go Palmer in our combined 11 because of what he's done all season. I don't enjoy that one as much. I wish we were doing it the old way when we didn't have to pick because I would have just put both of them in. We would have found a way to finesse and put both of them in. But no, I'm gonna go Palmer because he's been the more consistent player all year because he's played all year, and I think you deserve credit for that. And if Chelsea are gonna get a result, I think he has to have a massive day.
Of course.
So I'm gonna go Palmer on that basis. But with that being said, it's very likely that KDB has 2 or 3 assists.
Kevin De Bruyne. He's Kevin De Bruyne. We don't need to say much more than that, even at his current age and where he's at physically. Like he's Kevin De Bruyne.
Incredible.
He's incredible. He's top. I think Palmer. Obviously, we haven't seen as much of him. It's been a year and a half. But
this is blasphemy.
He's a special.
He's got 20 GA.
He's ridiculous.
He's gonna have to get on his own. If he does it on his own, that's fine. I don't see him getting.
He's
GA
their only outlet. He's been their only outlet. Chelsea would be on 5 straight losses without Cole Palmer. It's my genuine opinion. That's been my assessment all year. I can't say that I rate him that highly and not put him in the combined 11 for my sake. But I understand having Kevin De Bruyne there too, because I could any other player on planet Earth is Kevin De Bruyne.
Kevin De Bruyne learns how to walk again, and we're back. I don't know.
He absolutely no. I understand. I understand where you're at, and I totally want to put De Bruyne in here because he's one of my favorite players to watch ever. But Palmer's just been the better player for this season, so going with that. I'm putting a precedent out for if we go into this with future ones, and it's Bruno versus Odegaard or something. And I'm still picking Bruno.
The moral of the story is I'm picking fucking Bruno.
This just helps me push agendas later, I guess.
Hey, you're setting up the foundation. Yeah, I mean, Palmer's played the full season. He's played every minute in the Prem not every minute. He started every game for us. He's been our most important player next to Caicedo, I'd say. I think he's a special talent. I think the way he can influence a game, whether it's him getting a penalty or two, or whether it's him playing a little deeper and pulling strings, I think he can do everything out there. And it's a true pleasure to watch, especially even when we're in our bad dips. That's when he really shines because you're like, this guy's levels above anyone else we've brought in. For all the shit I've said about the ownership today, they brought him in for 45. Whether they knew what they bought, they did it. So thank them every day for that. Thank Man City for nurturing this young man into what he is today. He's brilliant, but I'll give you the platform, Mila, to talk about probably the best player in the past decade in the league.
I'm not talking about this.
He doesn't need to. We had this conversation at the beginning of the year. It's nothing's changed. I'm not
getting yelled at. That's the only thing that changed.
I don't need to talk about
No. You're still an idiot for disrespecting him. But
you picked him too. I'm not having this conversation about. I just don't want to talk about
I
this.
picked him in a combined 11 based off of current form.
Nope, he's not having that, Dylan.
No.
Sorry, he's had a GA in the last 8 for them. I can't not. He's been fucking incredible. If there wasn't a Mo Salah, he'd win Player of the Year. I can't say that I'm not picking him because of that. That's the truth. He's been the best player in the Premier League if Mo Salah doesn't exist. And I'm just setting the precedent for myself there because I can't go back on it.
He's still the best midfielder in the league at the moment. So I guess we're just going to have to disagree.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. He's just going off we haven't played enough games. But yeah.
KDB, now that he's fit.
He's earned that.
Undeniably better than everyone else on the pitch when he is fit. And he's only been fit for about 2 to 3 weeks. It's ridiculous. So if we're not talking about impact, sure. I don't know.
No, I think Chelsea. My point has been that he's their MVP. He might be the most valuable
De
player.
Bruyne gets our guys in the rut scoring though, and Palmer.
Did you see those comps I sent of him just getting robbed of assists?
Dude, yeah, no.
I've seen the same shit, bro. I've seen the same shit. We had Jesus and Sterling. Like, they did the same shit.
So
I had the
you
same
understand.
comps. I understand. But I
don't know. We've got the young bull at the beginning of his up and up, and we've got the experienced, I'm not going to call him a cow, but the experienced, peak male. Right, it's right about to start dipping. Like, again, Father Time's undefeated. That's not a shot at De Bruyne. He's not going to be at the peak of his powers for much longer. You know what I mean? But it's still it's a joy to watch. He's still that level. But yeah, one's on the way down, the other's on the way up. Two brilliant talents.
Yeah, they're 1A, 1B in this situation. I mean, I just picked one off current form.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, well, I picked KDB earlier when we were making in the beginning of the season, and then he just hasn't played. So I'm giving the same. Game.
That's all I'm saying. Or
even if he doesn't, it'll just prove my point more. Because there's no way Neto, Madueke, Jackson, Sancho, none of those names strike fear in me. The only one that would strike fear in me is Cole Palmer.
Jack's up.
I said
don't group Jackson with the other ones. Don't group Jackson with the other ones. He can.
When he starts scoring goals again, I can group him in.
I appreciate that.
Okay, I'm cool with that. Exciting weekend coming up. Are you cold? Thank you. I have to do a bunch of editing this one.
Yeah, it's on me.
No. It's not your fault. Mila said a word that cannot be spoken.
It's your guys' fault.
Hey, man, we breed good content. That's what we do.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool. Let's wrap it up. Clash of Clubs, episode 25. Put the fries in the bag. We'll see you guys in the next one.
2 words for him. Different gravy. Glorious goal! Wreathed in red. We're really seeing the most extraordinary finish here. On this day of days, has he delivered? Just magnificent! Potentially life-changing! That's football. Minute you let it under your skin, then you begin to make it better.